In the run-up to the next MarbleLympics, teams from the last one decide to keep themselves sharp by competing in a tournament, and they've decided, with the weather conditions of the Sand Marble Rally as they are, to invite the public in to watch them keep themselves at the peak of marble performance. In this particular event, the maze, all members of the 4 teams must find their way through this labyrinth. The first marble across the line will get 16 points, then the next 15, and so on, all the way down the line. The teams that have amassed the most points will move on. There are 6 groups of 4 teams each. We get a look at the first 2 groups in this particular video. The O'Rangers out to a quick lead with the Rojo Rollers trying to fight back on the bottom side. These early leads don't always mean much, and as you can see down there in the bottom left, we already got a couple of marbles that are caught up higher up the course, even though they do get bumped, and most of them keep going. Either way, you never really know the pathways and where the inertia will take these marbles. The O'Rangers leading the way right now, though. Rojo Rollers trying to position their marbles, working their way up toward the front. O'Rangers will be through first, Rojo Rollers next, but the question is, where will the other teammates come? O'Rangers next through, Rojo Rollers got another one, and that will be a good points haul for those Rojo Rollers. O'Rangers taking their time getting their other marbles down. Thunderbolts having the most trouble so far, although we've got the ball-bearing marble working its way down now that might be able to bump some of these stranded ones up top out of the way. And we still got 2 DNFs, even with that. O'Rangers and Rojo Rollers, but the Rojos, 3 of the top 5, and that should be enough to give them a good points total, and they will advance. 7 points clear of the O'Rangers, whose fate is yet to be determined. The best 2 of the 6 runners will also advance to the semifinals, just as a heads up. So 2 DNFs in that particular race. As we get ready to cue the next one, O'Rangers fans had a lot to cheer about over the last couple of MarbleLympics. Galactic, Primary, Oceanics, and the Pinkies in the gate now, and off they go. So many of them hitting that first little bit of stratifying section really hard. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody ricochets off that and goes flying off the course, but so far I think we have most of the marbles running, and that ball bearing knocks a couple that were stranded loose. Question is, will they get going? Either way, let's focus back up on the front. Oceanics ahead of the Galactics. These 2 seesawing back and forth. But the Pinkies, they try to make a brief charge, but get hung up on that red row. Still out in front, and seemingly will be the first across the line. Will be the Oceanics. No! Galactic steals it away from them. Pinkies, can they get that 3rd spot? Yes, they can. And now another nudge. Galactic, they're going to get several of their marbles in the top 5, and that should be enough to give them the win in this heat. Looks like we've got a few marbles, including the ball bearing that's caught up. That's a little bit unusual. Can the Pinkies lend out some help there? Yes, they can. The Oceanics taking their time behind Team Galactic. Pinkies last to come through. Look at the time difference also that these had. It's not based on time. It's all on sheer finishing. So Galactic, again, 3 of the top 5, just like we saw with the Rojo Rollers. That should be enough to give them the win in this particular event. They will advance. Also 9 clear of Team Primary. Oceanics and Pinkies taking a long time to get there. The last time we saw marbles on this course, it was for groups A and B. Now C and D have their chance. The Rojo Rollers and Team Galactic know that they're in. But for several other teams, it remains to be seen depending on how the events go in these 2 groups. Momo, Mellow Yellow, Jawbreakers, and the Cobalts in the gate right now, and down they come. All based on points that you get for the first few marbles to come across the line. So it's a lot of strategy. This course comes at you so quickly, though. Every twist and turn is a chance for your momentum to be completely arrested and for the other marbles to get around you. You not only have to worry about what path you're going to take, but you have to watch the other teams too. And right now the Jawbreakers are in the lead. Now they slow down quite a bit. A couple of Cobalts get out in front. Team Momo, they have 3 marbles that are close behind. End of the course is in sight. Who's going to get down there first? Momo gets 1 across. 3 of the teams of the 4 represented in the top 3 as they come across. Jawbreakers, they have a few already down there. Mellow Yellow, still a couple to come. And the Cobalts, really taking their time to get these last couple marbles down there before the ball bearing will sweep them downward. So let's see the official results. All 4 teams represented in the top 4. Cobalt's getting a couple up there. Everybody has now finally finished. Did we have any DNFs? We did. We had a couple. If this is the case, if 2 marbles stop on the same row, the marble closest to the center line will get the higher score there, in case you're wondering how those points get shaken out. Group D, Savage Speeders, Jungle Jumpers, Balls of Chaos, and the Snowballs. Long time being held in the gate. Down they come. Savage Speeders thought they were going to get to the course first. Instead, they fall back behind. Now they've got to play a little bit of catch-up. And they're actually responding in kind. They actually have a few marbles caught down here on the near side. Now everybody gets going again. Jungle Jumpers are trying to fight back a little bit. Now 3 marbles have jumped ahead of the pack. And we see just like that, they all get bunched up again. The Savage Speeders have a couple of their marbles together. Can they work as a team to get down this course? It's not looking like that's going to come to fruition too well for them. As we see the first few marbles coming across. Actually, they were able to regroup right at the top of those chutes. But look at how many white marbles are stranded high up on the course or are taking their time to get down here. That is not how you earn a lot of points. Now that's going to be a DNF. Oh, wait a minute. Will the ball bearing help? No. So close. Fans kind of holding their breath with all of this. But look at the Savage Speeders. They did group together and got 3 of the top 5 spots. They will advance because of it. The Savage Speeders, their fate is still up in the air. Balls of Chaos and the Snowballs, nothing doing. The final 2 groups of this maze tournament will finally tell us which teams will advance to the final and which ones will stay at home. So far, you see several of the second-place teams are still to be determined. That is because it all is on points. Now, the winners of each group do advance, and we'll see where the rest of the points shake out. A good group here sees 3 of the Limers up front. Now they stall out a little bit, and they lose out to Midnight Wisps. 3 Limers, though, still up front. The more that you have crossed the line early on before anybody else, the more points you're going to get, and the more likely you are to advance. Shining Swarm back there. Oh, they come to a stop all there on the top of the course. And now they get going again, some of them, but 2 of the Limers are caught. All right, there comes the ball bearing and several other marbles to knock them free, and now we're underway again. What looked like a sure victory for the Limers could have been stolen away from them right there, just by a big gaggle of marbles getting caught. Limers have 1 across. Will they get 2? Yes, they've got 2 of the 4. Shining Swarm also positioning themselves all right. We'll have to see where the points shake out, but I do believe that's going to be a victory and advancement for the Limers. Did we have any DNFs on that one? 3 of them, actually. And the Limers get 2 of the top 4, and that should be enough. There we see some of our non-finishers higher up the course, really high up the course, in the case of Team Plasma. And the Limers do move on. 37 for the Midnight Wisps is not enough. Plasma and Shining Swarm also go down. There you see the current ranking of other second-place teams. The Savage Speeders in there. Purple Stars, one of the teams that have built up a following, even in their absence in so many of these tournaments. Can they move on? Down they come. Hazers getting a good jump off the line and into the course. Now they fall back just a little bit. Look at this big gap out there for the Raspberry Racers. Now the Hazers move into second. Purple Stars, they've got a couple up there in the top 5. And now they work together. Can they get up front? One of them has. What about the other? Hazers still holding that lead. 2 Purple Stars right behind. And hello, Chocolatiers come in and decide to put themselves up front as well. Purple Stars cross the line in P1. Raspberry Racers, Chocolatiers next. Hazers. Purple Stars got another one up there. And it's these marbles that could end up playing a big part. The ones that are kind of in the middle of the pack. When you've got several teams represented by the top few positions. It really does come down to teamwork. So as you can see on the screen, we have one DNF for the Chocolatiers. The Hazers are going to come across. They bump the ball bearing down with them. So Purple Stars win that race, but Chocolatiers put 2 in the top 4. It's not enough, though. Raspberry Racers will advance, and the Purple Stars are eliminated. So the teams advancing to the semifinals, there you see them. Now is when it all begins to get serious. We had those qualifying rounds for this maze tournament, and it's time now for the semifinals. The best 2 teams will advance from these groups. Rojo Rollers, the Jungle Jumpers, the Limers, and the Savage Speeders. Long hold in the gate, and down they come. Limers again getting after that big lead like we saw them in the last race, only to be swarmed completely. The Rojo Rollers mirroring each other on the high and near side of the course. Now they lose out as the Savage Speeders come back and move into second place, trying to chase down the Limers. Limers now have 2 up front, but they stall in those red and yellow rows, and that lets a bunch of marbles get on by. Rojo Rollers still out in front. Jungle Jumpers move to the high side, and they have a little bit of a stall there. 4 marbles all in that yellow row come to a complete stop. Now down at the bottom of the course, the Limers have 1 across, and 2. Oh, the Savage Speeders looked like they were going to have a couple, but instead they balked right at the start of that final shoot. They're going to lose out on some points. In fact, the Savage Speeders have 2 marbles that you see still on the course, taking their time getting down. The Limers, they're going to have 1 DNF and 1 really late finisher. There's another one from the Savage Speeders that just came into the screen. So what looked like a pretty good finish for them is only going to be that 1 big points haul up front, and not much else. There are the Rojo Rollers, too, late coming down there. So the Limers get 2. Rojo Rollers, Jumpers, and Savage Speeders next. Where does that shake out with the points total as we take into account the late finishers and the DNFs? The Limers and the Savage Speeders make it. Just barely 2 points over the Jungle Jumpers. Raspberry Racers, O'Rangers, Momo, and Team Galactic. Down they come and come to almost a complete stop before they pick up again. We've got several marbles, actually quite a few that are caught up there. Can that ball bearing dislodge any of them? No, just 1. Only 1 of the O'Rangers, but 3 marbles so far are caught higher up on the course. The O'Rangers have the top 2 at the moment. Now they lose out. Raspberry Racers coming back. Rangers, can they start working together and get down that ramp first? No, they're going to lose out to the Raspberry Racers, but they will get 2 of the top 3. Watch this 4th place now. That's also going to go to the Raspberry Racers, so that should help them, I would think, given that we have another O'Ranger right there, another Raspberry Racer, and another O'Ranger. I think those are going to be your top 2 teams, unless my math is way off, which it could be since I've never been that good at math. Galactic getting there just in the top 5, but that's about it. And yes, it will. O'Rangers and Raspberry Racers have advanced to the final. Team Galactic and Momo just short. So it's the Savage Speeders, the Limers, Raspberry Racers, and the O'Rangers for the final of this tournament. Down they go. This tournament just intended to keep these teams sharp in the off periods between the MarbleLympics, but you don't think they're taking this seriously? They want this. 3 of the Limers are up there. They've gotten accustomed to running up front in this tournament. 2 O'Rangers take their place at the head of the field. Savage Speeders trying to work together to get themselves up there, but instead they're caught out in between a pair of Raspberry Racers. Now the O'Rangers have a huge lead, but the Limers, in just 1 little stretch, fight right back. They've got 2 marbles, on par with the Raspberry Racers. Now the O'Rangers have a couple up front, down here to the bottom of the course. What's it going to be? The Raspberry Racers trying to get 1 across, but it's 2 O'Rangers first. Raspberry Racers, unless they get a bunch of them across, I think this is going to go to the O'Rangers. It's going to be very close on the points. 1 O'Ranger is still taking its time to get down the course. Same over there with the Savage Speeders. Bouncing back and forth. Look at this, one of the Limers way back there. Probably got swept up by the ball bearing, but I can tell you down at the bottom of the course, the O'Rangers are already tentatively celebrating before timing and scoring even comes out. They think they've got this, but I'm honestly not sure. Given that they had one way up the course, I think some more of those middle marbles might play a part in the final. I mean, think about the Raspberry Racers. So there you see 2 O-Rangers, 2 Raspberry Racers, Savage Speeder, Limer, and then another Raspberry Racer. Do the points shake out in favor? No, it's the Raspberry Racers come through with 3 points more than the O-Rangers. The Raspberry Racers pulled that one out through consistency. It wasn't just the finishes. You needed more than the top 2. You needed more teammates to come across the line, and the O-Rangers didn't have it. What a finish! Congratulations to the Raspberry Racers.